Many people talk about logging and clearcutting as if this is a natural way to utilize wood as a resource, but no one ever stops to think about the scale and frequency that it's occurred on and the lasting impacts that it has. See, most industrial logging operations implement clearcut management or some other rebranded form of it, whether it be variable retention, shelter wood, seed tree, or strip cutting, because that is the most profitable way to harvest wood. And despite their often misleading claims for sustainable management, extracting profits from our lands is the ultimate goal for these privatized businesses. These management practices are often justified as replicating natural disturbances such as wildfire, yet the truth is so far from that. See, naturally occurring fires tend to burn the fine fuels of a forest, the sticks and twigs on the ground, leaving behind bigger, mature, and fire-resistant trees, whereas clear cutting removes those big trees and instead leaves the fine fuels around, all these slash piles you can see here, creating more conditions for fire to occur. So through these practices, diverse forests full of ecological and biological complexities that store and filter water, shade and cool these lands and waters, sequester and store carbon, and mitigate the impacts of anthropogenic climate change are replaced with radically simplified second growth forests that create all sorts of problems, from increased erosion, landslides, sedimentation of streams, and loss of habitat, in addition to threatening our water sources, to biodiversity and carbon loss, drier microclimates, and increased severity of wildfire. The list goes on. So on their own, these are highly problematic ways of managing a forest, but when we then consider the scale and frequency that it occurs on, it becomes even crazier. Now, there's some discrepancy in terminology and definitions here, but varying sources suggest that between 90 to 96% of the original forests across the United States have been logged or commercially modified, and between about 75 to 90% of Canada's original forests. So for the sake of argument, let's average that down to, say, 85% of the forests across the whole of North America have been cut down in a manner that aims to replicate high-intensity fires. Speaking to volume, that is an absolutely ridiculously huge percentage of the forest lands across the continent that have all been lost, and the forests we replace them with are often tightly packed, even-age monoculture stands of trees, meaning that they're more at risk to the natural disturbances that we're trying to replicate, like fire. When combined with the impacts of anthropogenic climate change, such as drought, that means that these rare high-intensity fires are happening much more frequently and on massive scales. Now, the second big problem with this management style is frequency. See, virgin forests can be thousands of years old, maturing in hundreds, if not thousands of years, yet we replace them with trees that we cut down on 30 to 50 to maybe 70-year crop rotations, with many forests now in their third or fourth rotation. So through our actions, we've created a situation where within the last 400 years, and especially the last 100, over 85% of the continent's original forest ecosystems have been destroyed to the equivalent of being burnt to the ground in a high-intensity fire, in some places 4 times over, which statistically only ever occurs naturally every 1,000 to 2,000 years, if at all, yet we're calling all of this totally natural and sustainable. The recent catastrophic fires we see each summer, on average, burn less than 0.008% of all the forests on the continent. Can you imagine if we lived in a world where 85% of the continent burned to the ground several times over in just a couple hundred years? That doesn't quite sound ecologically sustainable or responsible. It sounds more like the apocalypse. And while it might seem obvious to those of us with at least half a brain that this management style does not work to create long-term health of our lands, waters, and communities, because of global economic pressures, clear-cut logging continues all around North America, with BC making a push to increase fiber supply, and the Trump administration seeking to increase logging across both private and public lands, including many national forests, all so that a few rich billionaires can get a little bit richer. It's time we do things differently to create a better future, and that begins by thinking differently and doing things better. So by transitioning to a closed canopy, selective harvest, ecologically appropriate model, and community forests that are managed for and by the people who depend on them, we can not only continue to harvest wood and create jobs, but do so in a way that creates healthier, diverse, fire, and climate-resilient ecosystems alongside our healthy and thriving communities. Let's do better.